Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about my birth. I have a 8-month-old child now, and it was amazing. I love being a mom. Initially, my husband and I got married. We eloped in February of 23, and it was so much fun. Like, we got married in St. Croix. It was just the two of us. Been together for I think, yeah, 6 years now. And I want to say it was about 2 months after we got married that we conceived Sylvan. My pregnancy, I don't love pregnancy. I'm very jealous of those women who thrive in pregnancy, but oh my God, it is brutal. Week 1 through 6, I was totally fine. I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. This is so fun. Like, I have a little bean in there. This is great. I'm not nauseous. I spoke too soon because week 7 hit, and I would literally wake up, forget that I was pregnant, look at my husband, have to run to the toilet and throw up. After that, I think I hit about 17 weeks before I finally started feeling like okay and normal, and I went back to work. We own our own business. We own a couple of our own businesses, but I couldn't eat. This was like the most time that you needed to eat the most nutritious food. And I came from an extremely clean, well-balanced diet. And one of my first couple weeks of pregnancy, all I wanted was spicy McChickens and Taco Bell. You know that when you want something, like, you have to have it. Second trimester was easy. I could play pickleball. We went camping a lot. I could do kind of whatever I wanted to. I would work. I would be eating what I needed to be eating. The third trimester, feeling heavy, feeling like hot all the time, feet are swelling, and then 36 weeks comes around. It was a Friday. It's just uncomfortable. I felt like I had a UTI, and as you know, like with pregnant women, the kidneys are working extra hard. So even people who have never had kidney stones during pregnancy, they often can have kidney stones, and everything's just working extra hard. You're pumping more fluid, your kidneys are filtering more blood. I had a UTI, and I was like, man, like, I've had these my whole life, and if you guys don't know, I also have a rare genetic kidney stone, which is the hardest of the hard. It is super rare. It was snowing, and he was going to go in, but he was going to work, but he was waiting for me to kind of like give him like a go ahead. Fevering, and I was like, honey, I'm just going to run down to the Instacare really quick, just get a urine culture. We'll go from there. And he was like, okay, do you want me to drive you? I said, no, I'm okay. As I'm filling out the paperwork, I'm starting to feel a little more icky, a little more gross, and I eventually get to the point where I'm like, okay, I think this might be a little more serious. And my baby woke up from his nap. But basically, so 36 weeks hit, and I'm sitting there in that waiting room. They are taking the longest time ever, and I am thinking to myself, this is getting significantly worse. 2 hours of me sitting in the room, and I felt my UTI go from a UTI to a kidney infection, and I am rocking back and forth. Something's wrong. The doctor finally comes in, and she goes, nope, you don't have an infection. Your culture was all clear. Pretty sure, you guys, they mixed mine up with somebody else. Look, I'm in so much pain, like, I can't handle this right now. She's like, I'm gonna call in an antibiotic. So she calls in an antibiotic. She calls in an antibiotic, go grab the antibiotic, and I go home. My husband has a hot bath ready for me because I'm in so much pain that you can't take any pain medications when you're pregnant. He goes to work. I say, I think I'm okay. Go ahead. Go to bed. And I'm just sitting there kind of just rocking back and forth, just like, God, this is so much pain. I start to feel like I'm fevering, and it's just getting worse. I took the Tylenol. I fall asleep for a few hours. I wake up. I am in the shower, out of the shower, in the shower, out of the shower, just trying to get heat on my back because it hurts so bad. I said, I can't do this anymore. I call my parents. I say, I'm crying, and I say, look, you guys need to take me to the ER right now. They picked me up. I jumped in the car. I was sobbing, shaking because I was in so much pain, and white knuckling the steering wheel, going to the ER as fast as they possibly could get me. The ER really does not like little people, so they immediately send me up to labor and delivery. They're like, oh, she's pregnant, go up. Baby's totally fine. He's chilling. He's kicking. His heart tones are fine. He's vibing. This is where it gets interesting. They send me down, and the ER is full. I am a pregnant woman. My body is just in so much pain. I wasn't in my body. I'm going to be really honest. I don't remember a lot because it was just so painful. After, oh my gosh, it was after an hour of waiting, I get into one of the rooms, and they immediately put the IV in my arm. They give me fentanyl, which wasn't good for baby, but I needed it. I was going to cry. Even through then, I still was sobbing because the pain was so much. I got fentanyl every 30 minutes while they did tests, while they ran culture temperatures. Well, they did everything that they possibly could. I think I did an MRI with the baby, which I was extremely scared about because I didn't know if it was safe. They told me it was totally fine with the dye. I didn't care at that point. I was in so much pain. We're going to transfer you to Provo Hospital. We cannot do anything else for you here. She's like, you're going to need to see a bunch of urologists. This is really intense. I was like, okay. It starts white out snowing, like Star Wars looking when you're driving through it, snowing. We can get you an ambulance. And I was like, this is America. I'm not paying $60,000 for an ambulance. But my dad is white knuckling it on the on the freeway. My husband's right behind us in our 4Runner. My dad is quiet as can be. I am still sobbing because it is so much pain. And eventually we get to the Provo Hospital. They rush me into the ER. My husband's right by my side. They do all the heart tests. They do everything test-wise. And then nothing. They get me up to a room. Nothing. From 1 to 4 a.m. I am sitting there. My sister, my father, my mother, and my husband are all in this room with me. And my husband is sharing the bed with me. We're laying down. He's just holding me. I'm just ripping at his hand and his clothes because I can't handle the pain that I'm in. It makes me emotional talking about it. Because it's the most pain I've ever been in my life. I had been in, so much pain throughout my entire life with these kidney stones, but this was so different. They can't give me food, they can't give me water because they don't know if I'm going into surgery in the morning. 3:30. I just burst. I started crying so loudly that the nurses finally came in and they checked on me and I was like, look, we need to know what's going on. We find out the urologist is coming in early. They wheeled me back and I remember, again, I hadn't had any pain medication since 6 hours prior. Got down to the surgery center. They said, look, we're going to have to go into your kidneys. We're going to have to put 2 stents in to open up the kidney. Before I said goodbye to my family, the anesthesiologist was this really cute, I wish I knew her name, this really cute girl. Her shift was at 6, but she came in at 5:30. So she comes in down the hall at 5:30, and I just remember her opening up the door, and I just sobbed. She gave me something so strong that it took away the pain. I was able to finally open my eyes and look at my family and say, okay, I love you guys. I'll see you on the other side. During that surgery, the urologist who was on call had said that she literally had to poke through the stone in my ureter and green and pus and blood squirted out of my kidney. That's disgusting, I know. But she realized then and there that this was severe. I went septic. So I was in the hospital for another, 5 days being treated heavily by pain medication and antibiotics. Still 36, 37 weeks pregnant. About a week later, I'm released from the hospital. I'm on heavy, heavy dose antibiotics. I'm thinking that this would have sent baby to, be born. They're like, it's coming up, 37 weeks, we'll see. No, I was just completely miserable for the next, I went to 41 weeks gestation, and the whole time I would have baby kick my stents and I'd be peeing blood the entire time. It was kicking, and it was so painful to have stents kicked all the time and be constantly peeing blood. I wanted to go as natural as possible. I said, fuck this. I'm gonna go get induced, which I wish I didn't. But at the same time, I understand and I see past Janessa and I see where she needed just the relief. We were waiting for a call and they said, look, you're gonna get a call anywhere from 7 to 9 p.m. We waited. I didn't get a call until we were in bed at 2 a.m. and they finally said, hey, Janessa, we have room for you. Come on in. I woke my husband up. We were there within 45 minutes, loaded up the car seat, knew that we were about to meet our baby. But I don't have any sort of signs of labor at all. I start Pitocin. I start feeling, they didn't start Pitocin until the next morning. And that's when I start kind of feeling this is a little uncomfortable. I had put something in to kind of ripen my cervix, which was kind of making it so it's kind of speeds the process along. I dilated to about a 2 when they did a cervical check and my water broke and I was losing my mind. I was like, holy shit, this is about to happen. Say it was Thursday night. It was Thursday night that we came into the hospital. Friday was the day we were laboring all day. 5 p.m. on Friday, I was like, give me the damn epidural. I can't do this. And I wasn't going to do any of this, you guys. I wasn't going to do anything that had to do with intervention, but Pitocin is so freaking painful that I could not. And the stents and everything on top of that, it was just too much. I get the epidural, and that is the worst fucking feeling I will ever. I would rather feel the immense pain of labor than the epidural. The epidural numbed me from right here to my legs to the point where I could not not move myself. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest, like I couldn't breathe. I had them turn it down and they laid me to the side, and I could only feel one side of my body that would contract really, really intensely hard, and the other side was completely numb. And then I'd flip to the other side and it would do the exact opposite. It was so miserable. I don't recommend epidurals to anybody. Laboring for 33 hours. The baby was not moving. Like, he was not budging. And they checked my cervix. My cervix was about to like literally bulge and explode. And she goes, look, we have tried everything. I tried moving around in the beginning. The ball, they put a little peanut ball in between your legs to kind of get the baby in position. His heart tones are dropping. It's time for an emergency C-section, which was like my worst fear. At that point, it was so traumatic already. I was in so much pain. It was like back and forth. It was so traumatic. And I kind of disassociated completely. They redo my epidural to the point where I literally can't feel anything again. They tell me that actually baby is sunny side up with the cord wrapped around his neck twice. He's kind of stuck, so we need to get him out another way. My husband is with me. They're prepping me. I wasn't in my body. I disassociated entirely. I remember being above my body and shaking so hard that I begged this sweet anesthesiologist. I said, put me out. I don't fucking care if I meet my baby. Put me out. And I kept saying I can't breathe. And he's such a sweet, like, Mormon anesthesiologist man. And he goes to put in the oxygen, and I smacked him. I was like, get that away from me. I go above my body, and I'm watching it all happen. I'm not in my body. And I watch them cut me open from above the table. And I watch my baby get pulled out. And then I snap back into my body, and immediately I hear the cry. And we hear from the doctor, that is not a small baby. Sylvan was 9'2", and no wonder he was causing me so much distress, is because a 9'2" baby plus the stents, it was just a lot. They clean him up. They're sewing me up while Austin's back there with the baby. I didn't want to meet my baby this way, but I met him cheek to cheek. I wanted him to be still connected to the cord and still with me, but it's okay. Boston held him the entire time. We didn't let him out of our sight. I have a new freaking baby. Still on drugs. Still coming down from, like, honestly, the most traumatic experience. And I don't think birth should ever be that way, but being cut open into and having your baby excavated out of you, basically, is just not what I wanted. Got into mother and baby. Kind of got all settled, just trying to figure out what this new life is with this newborn baby. He was a big baby, so they kept forcing him glucose syrup, and he said no to any and all shots except for the vitamin K one, because they kept trying to prick his heel, test his blood glucose, because they kept threatening me that he was going to be autistic and have to go to the NICU if his blood sugar dropped. So that was traumatic too. I told everybody that I wanted to be just in the hospital room alone with my baby and husband for a while, but my whole family showed up and his whole family showed up, and it is what it is. My husband was there to support me the whole time, and my mom taught my husband how to change the first poopy diaper, which was just crazy. I had pumped enough colostrum to feed him for the first, I want to say 24 hours, but then after that, we actually snuck in my good friend Sydney's breast milk to give to him, because it was a lot cleaner and it was just pure breast milk versus the pasteurized or formula stuff. After that, we were told that I had surgery scheduled to take out the stones in my sides on Tuesday. Had him on Saturday at 11:22. We were in the hospital for all of Sunday, and then Monday morning we were let out, which I was so glad to just get home. I didn't care. I just wanted to get home. The first night was, again, just kind of blissed out. Like, I just felt like I didn't need sleep. Like, I stayed up with him the whole night. Like, he slept on my chest. It was perfect. Tuesday comes, and I said, Mom, I'm going to need you to take me in. I'm not taking Sylvan near the hospital. It's RSV season. Takes me to surgery. My milk comes in. Mind you, you guys, I'm going into surgery. I'm in a hospital gown. They're walking you back to pee to obviously take a culture. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm leaving a trail of milk behind me. I pump, set it aside, and we go into surgery. He could only go into one side, and he went into the really bad side, get everything that he could out, and he did out of that side. but he said he was drilling for hours. My surgery was like 5 or 6 hours, which was really intense, and it was hard to be away from baby. Meanwhile, my husband is being a single parent, trying to find and scavenge for breast milk anywhere he can because I'm just like not in the picture. Same day surgery, he picks me up. We go pick up breast milk on the way as well. And my mom is at home watching the baby. It's like January, so it's cold outside, but we would still take him for walks, try to get outside. I would try to move around, like just try to not feel like I was literally like a zombie. A week, we get the call and they say, hey, you're gonna have to come back in. What about Tuesday? Enjoying baby time, loving life. I'm pumping, feeding him that breast milk. I'm pumping as much, kind of build up a collection. Tuesday comes, go back into surgery for my other side. Gets out all the stones. The next day, totally fine. The day after that, I start fevering and I'm sleeping and I can't like really function. I'm sleeping with my baby the entire time and I'm feeling really hot and I'm feeling really cold. Finally, I call my parents. I say, look, I think I might be infectious again. Like, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, we should go to the hospital. I was like, I already have antibiotics here. I'm just going to take them. They were like, okay, well, you should be careful. Meanwhile, my milk supply is dropping and I'm like, oh shit. But I didn't really notice because I wasn't feeding him off the breast because he hadn't learned to latch yet. Because again, the first moment he was born, they were shoving bottles down his throat. He preferred the bottle over me. We eventually get to the hospital. I think it was the next day. Well, yeah, we tried going the next day. We tried going to the ER. It was a 2.5 hour wait. We go to, I think it was Instacare to go try and get just some sort of answer to like bypass this line. I said, no, you need to go to the ER. We go back to the ER. Come to find out, I am completely septic again. But I sat in the ER waiting for 3 hours, shivering on that bed. Waiting for them to come get me while a room was ready. And they just kept telling me that there's no room ready. I'm so sorry. There was a lot of waiting around while I literally felt like I was dying. They finally got me a room. I got in there late at night and they started treating me with antibiotics, knew that I was going to be in there for like intensive care for a little while. My husband came in that night with our baby. I haven't seen my baby in like 2 or 3 days. Like, I need to see my baby. He brought him in and I held my baby in my hands and I was sitting there. I said, oh, it's my boy. And I passed out. I literally blacked out. I don't remember anything else after that. This felt like near death because I was like tripping. I was seeing like the end of my life. Honestly, it's hard to talk about because there was a lot that I did see of my life, of others around me, demons, angels, like everything that I was seeing in that experience felt like a really intense mushroom trip. Throughout the night, being treated really intensely. And I remember there was a moment where I was trying to pump and there was no milk that was coming out. And I remember asking God, I said, please do not let my milk go away. I want to feed my baby so bad. Please don't take it away. Like, again, being in this like sleep wake dream state, I knew my milk had gone because one, I hadn't used my breasts in almost 2 days. And then I had actually just completely stopped pumping because there was nothing coming out and I was just devastated. Again, my husband's scrambling to find milk for our newborn baby, sleeping with our baby, trying to figure out how to take care of this baby without his mom. Because again, I just pieced out. I couldn't be present for raising him because I was literally trying to fight for my own life. Half dying, seeing black and seeing light at the same time. And asking God, I said, please just allow me to feed my baby. That's all I care about is feeding my baby. Please don't let my milk dry up. And I remember in that moment that I felt like a waterfall rush over my chest. And it was really cool. It felt like cool water had just like rushed over my body. I said, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. My milk is back. My milk is back. Thank you. And I passed out. Got up the next day and I felt my boobs and I was like, no, my milk's not here. That was just a dream. And I'm like sobbing again. I get up and I go to take a shower, lean over the sink and just dripping. And I started bawling again. I was like, holy shit, my milk is back. Started pumping, started just continuing to try and bring that supply back because it went from like a huge massive supply to just like tanked. I was there for another day before they finally said, hey, your levels have come down to a safe place. You're good to go home. I called my dad. I said, Dad, it was a Saturday morning. I said, Dad, come pick me up. Like, come pick me up. I'm ready to go home. So I get home, I walk in the door, and my sweet husband and the baby are asleep on our bed. And I immediately kiss my husband. I say, I'm back, baby, I'm home. And I was so ready to be done. And I grabbed my baby and I held him while he slept too. It was finally so just beautiful to be able to like be a mom and really appreciate that I had a baby. And that night came, holding my baby, and I was shirtless, and I was feeding him a bottle, and I was just sobbing because I was like, he won't latch. He doesn't want anything to do with my breasts. Like, I don't know how. I don't know. Like, my milk's back, but I'm just gonna have to sit here and pump. He pops off the bottle and pops onto my nipple and starts suckling. It's completely a wrong suckle because he had a tongue tie and a lip tie, but he does it anyways, and it stimulates my milk even more. And at that point, I said, fuck it. I don't care how much it costs. I'm hiring a lactation consultant because literally the one at the hospital was trash, absolute garbage. Handed me a book, didn't teach me anything. She literally came over, said, you want to learn how to breastfeed? Let's do this. Grabbed the boob, popped the baby on, and ever since then, you guys, I kid you not, he has been exclusively breastfed. I say this as I'm breastfeeding now, but to this day, you guys, he is exclusively breastfed. He would not take bottles, he would not take passies, he would not take anything. He was only and only for mom. He is 8 months old, you guys, and still exclusively breastfed, and it is the greatest blessing I could have asked for because that's all I wanted to do was be able to feed my child, to eat clean and know that my milk was feeding him and nourishing him. And if you guys see pictures on my Instagram, I don't show his face, but he is a chunky monkster. He is a happy, healthy baby. My next birth, I'm going to make sure that my kidneys are clear before we try. I do want to be a mama. It's one of the best things I could have ever envisioned for myself. In fact, I wish I was a mom sooner because I found so much purpose and life and goals and selflessness and all of it, just beauty in such a deep part of myself that was just waiting to be unlocked by becoming a mother. He is our pride and joy. He is so funny and kind and smart, and I just love being a mom. Postpartum was literally a breeze after fighting for my life, because I just felt like, thank God I'm alive. Thank God I had this baby and he's safe and I'm safe. And, you know, anything after that is just extra. Like, it's just a blessing. And hopefully, when I'm on here next talking about birth, it will be my dream birth of a home birth, of peace and quiet, of no infections, no serious things that have to do with intervention in the hospital. I am crunchy, but I am so damn grateful that they were able to save me, that they were able to give me what I needed because of the doctors, because of the urologists, because of the nurses at Provo. I was able to have a baby. I'm healing. My C-section's a little bit icky. I don't love that scar, but it's something that tells my story, and I'm grateful for that too. So now I'm blessed with a beautiful baby boy. I'm blessed to be a mother. I'm blessed to be healthy, and I'm just happy. Everything in life is either an experience or a lesson, and I felt like his childbirth really brought me into my own body and into a space where I could really appreciate and see life and how fragile it is, but also how amazing and beautiful it is. To experience a sort of death while I was bringing life into the world was pretty freaking magical. Dramatic, but magical. That is my birth story. I want to hear your guys' stories. Again, I don't love being one of those women that just says it was traumatic, but it was for me, and that's okay because that was the experience. So if you had a traumatic birth, share in the comments below. If you had a magical birth, also share in the comments below. You guys, women are freaking powerful and incredible, and it was one of the most amazing experiences. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and thank you guys for sticking around and hearing what I had to say. Bye, guys.